Hi everyone! In today's video, I will be sharing 5 teacher appreciation card ideas. This first one is so cute and perfect for any teacher or bus driver. I'm using the school bus stamps from the company LDRS Creative. I will have all the products I'm using linked in the description. The stamps feature a school bus with 2 bears, and I also grabbed the back to school critters with all these small animals. I'm just using my Misty machine to stamp the images with black ink. The ink I'm using is the Finesse waterproof black ink pad from Crafter's Companion. It is my absolute new favorite since it doesn't smudge when I use watercolor or alcohol markers. To color the images in, I'm just taking these alcohol-based markers I got off of Amazon. While they're not the greatest markers, they were relatively cheap. I do want to try out the Copic markers eventually, but for now, these work just fine. Let me know if you use the Copic markers and if you recommend them. Of course, I am coloring the school bus this bright yellow color. It is so relaxing to color in images. I think it is my favorite part about card making. Plus, the images are so cute. They take me back to riding the school bus every day in elementary school. I do remember we would have bus driver appreciation weeks, so this would be a really great card to make for that. Most of my bus drivers were the nicest people too, and they do not get enough credit. I definitely wouldn't be able to drive a huge bus around while watching over a bunch of kids. But anyways, I'm just coloring in the images as best I can. I tried to add some shading, but these markers aren't the best at blending. Next, I colored the bears this brown color. They were really easy to color in because they aren't too small. The other critters were a bit more difficult due to the small details on them. The fox and the turtle both will go inside of the bus, so I didn't bother coloring their bottom halves all the way since you won't see that part. Also, the turtle reminds me of Franklin from the TV series I used to watch, and his little glasses are so cute. Next, I am cutting out the images with my Sizzix machine. To prevent the dies from moving, I put a small piece of washi tape down to keep them in place. This is a great hack to try. Just make sure that the washi tape isn't too sticky or else it will rip the paper. For the smaller critters, I just fussy cut those out with scissors. The cool thing about the bus die cuts is that it not only cuts out the windows, but also makes a little slit in the door. This way you can place an image inside to make it look like it's walking onto the bus. Once they're all cut out, I am taking my paper glue and am adhering everything down. I avoided gluing near the windows because that's where I am placing the small animals. I think this turned out so cute, but before I'm done, I need to add a sentiment. I've decided to go with the "You've got this" saying since it works for a bunch of occasions. I am just using an acrylic block to stamp that piece down. Finally, I got this scalloped die cut frame that I am using to back the card, using yellow to complement the school bus. And this is the final card. It turned out so adorable. Next up are these 2 stamps from Trinity Stamps. One of them says, "The influence of a great teacher can never be erased," and the other is a graduation sentiment. I decided to do both at the same time because I'm giving them the same look. I wanted to make watercolor cards, so I'm stamping them with the same waterproof ink as before. Using watercolor on cards is my absolute favorite. It's just so peaceful painting in the designs. Plus, watercolor is so forgiving, which makes it great for beginners to try. My watercolor paint I got from Amazon. I think it was less than $10 and the colors show up so nicely. Whenever I bring out my watercolor paints, my cat loves to come over and watch. She really just likes to play in the water cup. She will stick her paw into the water and then shake it off so that water gets everywhere. It is really quite annoying, but she's just so cute I can't even be mad. Once everything is painted, I will set it off to the side to dry and work on the die cut pieces. I'm using the cool Clipboard die set from Trinity Stamps. There is a piece that cuts out notebook paper that fits the image that I just painted. I thought the Clipboard was such a creative design, and I know I'll be able to use it for a lot of other projects as well. For the actual clip part, I'm using metallic silver to make it look just like metal. I did the same thing for the paper clips as well. Here I am cutting out the painted image with the die that looks like notebook paper. I love how it has the 3 holes on the left side. The only thing about these die cuts are the teeny tiny pieces that make up the pen and pencil. They were honestly too small that I ended up only making 1 pen. I kept losing pieces and it just took way too long. Here are the 2 cards. I think they turned out amazing. The next card is one of my favorites and it is so simple to make. I am using this bookworm stamp from Brutus Monroe. It has this little caterpillar worm reading a little book. I love stamps like this because it does not come with a ton of pieces. I really love the simplicity and it makes card making so fun, especially since you're not wasting time putting together a bunch of different pieces. I went ahead and stamped the image down, then I am just coloring it in with markers. I wanted it to look similar to how a real-life caterpillar would look, so I chose greens and yellows to color it in. The cutest part about this image is the fact that a caterpillar is reading a book about butterflies. I thought that was so cute and such a great detail that they added. Next, I have these cutting dies from Spellbinders. Since I don't have a background, these will be perfect. It's also nice that each of them stack on top of one another, so I ended up choosing 3 and am cutting those out using different colors. I tried to keep the color scheme pastel looking, so I'm using light pinks, greens, and yellows. But it would also be cool to use school colors if you end up making this for a specific teacher. Using paper glue, I am adhering them one on top of the other, with the caterpillar going in the center. The stamp also came with a sentiment saying, "Reading is dreaming with your eyes open." Second to last card, I am using this crayon stamp from Lawn Fawn. Lawn Fawn has a bunch of these smaller stamp sets which I love. One, because the stamps themselves are really nice, but also they are less than $5, so they're super affordable unlike some other stamps, and there are so many ideas you can create with them. For this card, I ended up stamping down the crayons on the left-hand side. It also would have been cool to scatter them throughout the front, but I ultimately decided to go with a more uniform look. And my Misty makes it so easy to align them right next to each other. To color them in, I am using the same markers as before. My plan was to color the actual crayon a darker shade than the wrapper to give it some more dimension, although some of my markers came out darker than I anticipated. If you enjoy watching coloring, I'll stop talking and put some music over the video. The stamp set also came with this smiley face. This gives the crayons an animated look, which is perfect for school-aged kids. Lastly, I am stamping the sentiment down that says, "You color my world." Since I had some white areas left over, I am coloring those in with a black marker. I think this is a great card for any art teacher. It turned out really nicely. Finally, the last card I made is using this Smart Cookie stamp set, also from Lawn Fawn. I always enjoy a good pun or a play on words. Again, you can use these stamps in a variety of ways. I decided to do 3 cookies in a row, stamping them with black ink. The stamp set also came with graduation caps, which I included on my card. Although if you are making this for a Teacher Appreciation Week, you can leave those off. I just wanted to show some variation. This would be a great design for anyone who is graduating and will soon become a teacher. Just like before, I am coloring the stamps in with markers. I tried to add a little bit of shading on the cookie, and I'm doing the graduation cap a yellow color. These stamps also came with tiny faces, which makes them so much more fun. To add the sentiment, I am using my Misty machine to make sure that it's straight. I thought the background was a little plain, so I ended up adding the diplomas throughout. This card took me less than 15 minutes to create and was so much fun to make. I hope that you make at least one of these cards. Let me know which one was your favorite. My favorites are between the bookworm or the clipboard card, but all of them are really great. Thank you so much for watching.